Hello students, today we are going to start the next gland, endocrine gland, that is the pancreas. So first of all we need to know what is the pancreas. It's the leaf-like organ. Okay, it is a leaf-like gland. Okay, where it is located, what is the location? See, it is present actually in this region. This is the duodenum we have. So on this right hand side, okay, actually it is in our body on the left hand side, this leaf-like organ, okay, this leaf-like organ is present. Okay, so this leaf-like organ is present on the left to the C-shaped part of the intestine, or you can say the duodenum. Okay, so what is this? This is the pancreas. Now you know that pancreas is called as the heterocrine gland. So why it is called as the heterocrine gland? Because this gland have two parts. Okay, one is the exocrine part and another is the endocrine part. Okay, so it is going to have both the two parts, exocrine and endocrine. Actually 99% of the pancreas is exocrine only, and very little, some of the cells are present, they are present just like a island, okay, in the ocean of the exocrine part. There is a small part present. What is that? That will be the endocrine part of the pancreas. What is that endocrine part of the pancreas called? This is called as the islets of Langerhans. Okay, so just 1% of Langerhans. So just 1% of the whole pancreas is the endocrine part of the pancreas. It's called as the heterocrine gland, and it is going to also have the exocrine gland. So this exocrine part of the pancreas release the pancreatic juice. Okay, the pancreatic juice is very much important because it is going to contain almost all kinds of enzyme to digest, carbohydrate, protein, fat, everything. Okay, now just come to the endocrine part. So in this endocrine part called islets of Langerhans, it's going to have 4 different types of cells. What are they? Alpha cell, beta cell, delta cells and PP cells. Okay, so what are the cells actually? What are the secretions of the all those 4 types of cells? First of all, if it comes to the alpha cell secrete a hormone that is called as the glucagon. Okay, next on beta cell, it release another hormone called as insulin, which is very common, we heard about this. Next on delta cell, which is releasing the somatostatin. See, somatostatin you will also heard in the hypothalamus. In the hypothalamus there is one inhibitory hormone released for growth hormone. So GHIS, growth hormone inhibiting hormone, is also called the somatostatin. So that is released from the brain, from the hypothalamus, and this somatostatin is released from the pancreas. Now this PP cell, which is releasing some hormone that is called as the pancreatic polypeptide. Okay, so there are 4 types of cells present. So what are the functions of all of the cells? Okay, so let's just rub first of all these parts. Okay, we'll see the functions of only the islets of Langerhans, because function of the acinar cells, the exocrine part of the pancreas, we have already discussed. So that part will be not needed. That part already we have seen in the digestive system. Now we will see the functions of each of the cells. See, first of all, the glucose will be converted into glycogen, and the glycogen converts into glucose. So this is how actually we will produce the energy from the glucose. ATP will be not shared by any of the cell. Every cell have to produce their own ATP. So what happens, glucose is very much necessary for the cells, okay, so that it can do the metabolism and other differentiation process, everything. Now the next thing, that suppose you have taken the food, just had lunch, then after that you will have the carbohydrate. After digestion you will have the glucose. Excess of glucose after taken by the cells, the excess of glucose will be converted to glycogen. who is going to convert glucose to glycogen, and when we will have the conversion of glucose to glycogen to glucose. So there are two hormones. First of all, glucose will be converted to glycogen by one hormone. See, this function will be performed by glycogen and insulin. You know one function, this is very much important. What happens that the diabetes mellitus, which is very common disease, what happens in that condition, that in this individual blood glucose level is very high. Why the glucose will be very high in the blood? Because glucose is not able to convert into glycogen, isn't that? So what is the function of the insulin? That it converts glucose to glycogen. So glucose will be converted to glycogen by one hormone. What is that? This is insulin. Okay, and glycogen will be converted to glucose by another hormone, that will be the glycogen. So this is the chief function of insulin and glucagon. You need to know the function of the delta cell, which release the somatostatin. So what is the function of somatostatin? It is going to inhibit the secretion of alpha and beta cells, that is both the glucagon and insulin. Okay, so somatostatin inhibits both glucagon and insulin. Actually both of them, they are functioning the opposite function, they are antagonistic to each other. So that's why their maintenance, regulation is very much essential. Now the last one, that is the PP cell secretion, is pancreatic polypeptide, which is going to inhibit the acinar cells to decrease or to inhibit the secretion of the pancreatic polypeptide. So PP cells, which is releasing pancreatic polypeptide, it inhibits the secretion of acinar cells, you can say. Okay, so acinar cells release the pancreatic juice. So pancreatic juice will be decreased, or it will be inhibited by this pancreatic polypeptide. So just see how this insulin and glucagon works. Okay, so first of all, just see, suppose we have excess of glucose in the blood. Okay, then what our insulin does? Okay, so insulin will perform different functions. What are they? First of all, insulin, we are discussing about the insulin only. Okay, so what is the function of insulin? We will see. What our insulin will do, insulin will decrease the glucose into glycogen from actually convert the glucose into glycogen, and that's how they can decrease the blood glucose level. So what will happen, that if you have high glucose level, then it will, first function, it will increase the glucose uptake by the cells. Okay, so insulin will tell each and every cell that there is enough of glucose you have, you can convert or you can use it for your own energy production. So this is how the insulin gives this indication to the cell that there is enough of glucose, you can take whatever amount of glucose you need for your energy. So it will increase the glucose uptake by the cells. Now next one, it will convert glucose to glycogen in the liver. Okay, next one, if you have more glucose level, then what will happen, that it will also have another function, that it will help in conversion of glucose to convert it into protein and fats. Okay, so it will convert to protein and the fats. Okay, so what is the function of glucose now, that it will increase the blood glucose, it will decrease the blood glucose level by increasing the uptake of glucose by the cells. Okay, next one, it will convert glucose to glycogen in the liver by a process called glycogenesis. Okay, next one, if the blood glucose level is high, then this blood will have high glucose level, so it will convert this glucose into carbohydrate to to carbohydrate, glycogen already we have seen, to the protein also, fat also. So it will help in proteogenesis, okay, then it will help in lipogenesis, okay. So these are the functions performed by, this will be the functions performed by the insulin, okay. Exactly opposite function will be performed by glycogen. So what will happen if you suppose have high or suppose less glucose level in the blood, okay, suppose the less glucose level in the blood we have, then what will happen, it will be the glycogen, it will be the glycogen who will decrease the uptake of blood sugar level by the cells. It will break down the glycogen, it will convert the glycogen to glucose in liver, okay. And this process where the glucose actually is the glycogen will be broken down and produce more glucose. What is that function? That is the actually a process. That process is called as glycogenolysis, okay. It will break down the protein to produce glucose, ultimately it will break down the fats ultimately to produce the energy, okay. So all the stored food like protein and the fats, that will be broken down and ultimately it will liberate glucose in our body. So what is the function? It will help in proteolysis and it will help in lipolysis, okay. So what is the function of the glycogen now? Glycogen will increase the blood sugar level, it will convert glycogen to glucose, so it will increase the blood glucose level. If you have less blood sugar level, then it will decrease the glucose uptake, okay, by the cells. It will convert glycogen to glucose in the liver, so that we can increase the glucose level in blood, okay. That's how we can able to increase the glucose level in the blood. And after that it will break the protein also, fat also, ultimately we can able to increase the blood sugar level. So this is how the insulin and glucagon, oh sorry, not glycogen here, this is glucagon, okay. So there are two hormones released by the alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cell release glucagon and beta cell will release insulin. So glycogen will be converted to glucose by glucagon. So this is the function of the glucagon. So this is my mistake, you just correct it out, and if I have said wrong but I was meaning the same, so you just correct it out. So this is glucagon, which is released by the alpha cells, which will convert the glycogen to glucose and increase the blood sugar level, okay. So this is how the insulin and glucagon works. After that, let us see the different disorders related to the secretion of insulin and glucagon. So first of all, here we are going to see the different disorders, okay, different disorders of the pancreas, that means by the release of insulin and glucagon. So what I have said, that insulin is going to convert, this insulin is going to convert the glucose to glycogen, okay. So this is the function. So it will be the insulin, okay, which have the function that it is going to be hypoglycemic. It is in nature, it is hypoglycemic in nature, and glucagon, okay, it is hyperglycemic in function. That means glucose will be decreased in our body by the function of insulin, by the secretion of insulin, and glucagon, if it is produce, it's released, then our body blood glucose level will be higher, okay. Now just see in what condition we can have the conditions like high blood glucose level or less blood glucose level, okay. So we have a very common disease that is called as the diabetes mellitus, okay. So in diabetes mellitus, what happens, the blood glucose level is very high, Okay, so why the blood glucose level can be very high? It can be either the hyper secretion of excessive secretion of glucagon or less secretion of the insulin. So hypo secretion, okay, either the hypo secretion of insulin can lead to diabetes mellitus, or hyper secretion of glucagon, hypersecretion of the glucagon can lead to a condition of high blood glucose level that is called as diabetes mellitus. So this is called as also hyperglycemia. Okay, so this diabetes mellitus, which is of two types, this part already we have discussed actually. So we have two types of diabetes mellitus. One is called as IDDM and another is called as NIDDM. What is the two types of diabetes mellitus? One is called as insulin dependent diabetes mellitus and another is called as the non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. So in this condition what happens, right? So actually this diabetes mellitus is an autoimmune disorder. Now what is the autoimmune disorder? Autoimmune disorder means our own immune system cannot differentiate the self and non-self, and our bodies, that means our own antibody starts to degenerate our own cells. So in IDDM what happens? Insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, the beta cells are destroyed. So whenever the beta cells are destroyed, what happens? We cannot produce sufficient amount of insulin. So due to the less secretion of insulin, hyposecretion of insulin, what can happen that in our body the blood will have high blood glucose level. Okay, so that condition is called as the IDDM. So it is an autoimmune disorder basically in the children. Okay, basically in the children, the children, they suffer from a condition that is IDDM. So it is a common disease. It's happened to the childhood. Low number of infants, the infants are born with such type of diabetes mellitus. This is called as type 1 diabetes mellitus. Okay, so in this condition what happens? Due to the less release of insulin, that individual suffers from IDDM. So if it from outside insulin is given, that disease can be corrected. So this is an autoimmune disorder where the immune cells or the antibodies starts to destroy our own beta cells. What is happening in NIDDM, non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus? Here what happens? We know that that our glucose will be taken by the cells and cells will produce ATP. So the cells have to get this indication or information that from the insulin that they need to get the glucose and convert it to produce ATP, suppose. So in NIDDM what happens? The individual, the receptors, okay, the cells will have the receptors. So receptors of cells which will be bonded with the insulin, that will be destroyed. So suppose this is insulin, here we need to have the receptors. The insulin get binded to the receptors, then the cell will get this information that glucose has to be taken and converted or produce energy. So these receptors are destroyed by the immune system. So even if it is suppose sufficient amount of insulin is released by our body, we cannot able to convert the glucose to glycogen. Why we are not able to convert? Because the receptors are getting destroyed, okay, by our own immune cells. So this is actually this disease occurs in the adult individual. The people we are more the age of 40 to 50 years, they suffer from diabetes mellitus type 2 diabetes mellitus, also called as NIDDM. So in this condition the receptors are destroyed by our own immune system. So that's why the individual suffers from this condition that is called as NIDDM. Okay, so this condition, diabetes mellitus, this is also called as the hyperglycemic condition or hyperglycemia. Okay, so why this disease caused due to the hyposecretion of insulin. If it happens that we are secreting hypersecretion or you have excess of insulin, then what will happen? We will suffer from another condition that will be called as hypoglycemia, where blood glucose will be excessively decreased in our body, okay, in our blood system. So this is how the insulin and glucagon works. must remember both of them, they are antagonistic to each other. Okay, just remember that, this is important. This is about the pancreas you have to know. Then after that, let's just move to the next gland, that is the adrenal gland. Okay, so this is about the insulin you need to know. After that, let's just see, the next gland is adrenal gland. So this adrenal gland is also called as the suprarenal gland. So why it is called as suprarenal gland? Because here we have the kidney, and just above the kidney we have a gland called adrenal gland. Okay, it's roughly, it is triangular. Okay, it's roughly triangular, and if you see this adrenal gland, then it is going to have two parts. Okay, one is called as the adrenal cortex and another is the medulla. Okay, so first thing, that the cortex is divided into three parts. So what are they? If you see this adrenal gland, the cortex have three parts. First of all, the outermost part, then middle part, then innermost part. Okay, so first part, this is called as the zona fasciculata. Okay, so from outside to inside we will see. Okay, so this will be zona from outside to inside, zona glomerulosa. Then zona fasciculata, middle layer is called as the zona fasciculata, and the last one is the innermost layer is called as the zona reticularis. Okay, medulla releases two hormones. What are they? They are called as the adrenaline, and the second hormone is called as the noradrenaline. Okay, so we are releasing two hormones from the medulla, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Now after that, let us see their functions. What are the functions they are performed by all those five hormones? One more thing you need to know, that the cortex, they releasing the hormones, they are steroid in nature. Okay, they are called as the corticosteroid hormone. But the medulla, which is releasing the adrenaline and noradrenaline, they are not steroid, they are amino derivative hormone. So they are called as the catecholamines. Okay, they are called as catecholamines. So they are the amine derivative, they are derived from the amino acid. So these are the adrenaline and noradrenaline, they are amino acid derivative, and this cortex, which is releasing three hormones. Okay, one, the zona glomerulosa, which is releasing a hormone called mineralocorticoid. Okay, second, zona fasciculata, it is releasing glucocorticoid, and the last one, that is zona reticularis, it is releasing the gonadocorticoid. Okay, it is releasing gonadocorticoid. Okay, so three hormones are released from each of the parts. These three hormones together, they are called as the corticosteroid hormone, as it is steroid in nature, lipid in nature. But this medulla, which is releasing the two hormones, they are amine derivative. That means it is formed from the amino acid. Okay, so let us come to the function of all the three hormones as well as the medullary hormones. So first of all, if it is the mineralocorticoid released from the zona glomerulosa, which is also called as aldosterone. Already we have discussed this aldosterone, function of aldosterone in the excretory product and their elimination. So what is the function of mineralocorticoid? It's related to minerals, right? So what is the function? It increases the mineral content, that is sodium ion reabsorption. It increases the sodium ion reabsorption. That's how it will increase the level of sodium ion in the blood, and that's how it will increase the BP, blood pressure. Next one, glucocorticoid. It's a very important hormone. It's very much important for our body. Now, it's a bad hormone. Okay, so why it's called as a bad hormone, or it's called as the stress hormone, we can say. Okay, it's a stress hormone because this glucocorticoid, it's related to the glucose homeostasis. It's important, but it causes, suppose we are in the stress, then our body starts to release excessive amount of glucocorticoid. That's how the in our body will start to, suppose we are in the anxiety or we are in the stress, then our body require more glucose. So that's how it will increase the blood sugar level whenever we are in the stress condition. And if you're suppose in a prolonged state of stress, then our body thinks that we need to have more energy, or they will start to, our body will start to think that in future also we'll need energy. So that's why it will increase the fat absorption or fat deposition. So it can cause also obesity. So whenever we are in the depressed condition or in the stress condition, our fat starts to accumulate more. Okay, that is caused by the glucocorticoid. So it will increase the blood sugar level. Second important point, that it will cause deposition of fats that can lead to obesity. Yeah, that leads to obesity. Then yes, whenever we are in stress condition, it will act also in the immune system, that our immune system cannot perform. It's a immunosuppressant. So glucocorticoid is also immunosuppressant. That question came. Okay, so it's the immunosuppressant. Our immune system will be deactivated, or its function will be it's suppressed by the action of this glucocorticoid. Okay, next one, the last one, that is the gonadocorticoid. This gonadocorticoid will help in the release of the gonadal hormone, what are they? Estrogen, progesterone and testosterone. Okay, so the three hormones, the sex hormones, will be released by our all of the sex. In the males also, in the females also, will have all the three hormones: estrogen, progesterone and testosterone. Okay, male hormones is the testosterone, androgen, and female hormone is the estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone is also found in the males because of this gonadocorticoid, which release this estrogen and progesterone in the males. And in the females, we will also have a level of high testosterone. We will have testosterone. Why does testosterone is needed? Because for our body physiology, and it will be released by the gonadocorticoid from the adrenal cortex. Now, the function of adrenaline and noradrenaline. See, it will cause the, I have told you about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. It will work, or it's also called as the emergency hormone. Okay, why it's called as the emergency hormone? Because it will act on the 3F situation. So what is the 3F situation? Whenever we fight, whenever we fright, okay, or whenever we fight, fright and flight. Okay, in 3F situation also, this emergency hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline, the two hormones will work. Okay, so these are the functions of the adrenal gland. After that, let us move to the next part, that there are different type of diseases related to the adrenal gland. After that, let us see the different disorders related to the adrenal gland. First of all, there are diseases. Here I have written 4 diseases we have the first disease, that is called as Addison's disease. Why this disease occurred? Due to the tuberculosis. Due to TB, what happens? The adrenal cortex part is degenerated, and that's how we are not able to release sufficient amount of mineralocorticoid and glucocorticoid. So the functions of mineralocorticoid and glucocorticoid will not be seen in this disease called Addison's disease. In this disease, there is a peculiar, very particular symptom appears, that is bronze-like pigmentation in the skin. This is a very peculiar characteristics, that is a symptom found in Addison's disease. And the second thing, the another condition, that the blood sugar level will be decreased, sodium level will be decreased in the blood. It will cause vomiting, nausea. Nausea means faint, get faint or faintlessness. This type of symptoms will appear. Vomiting, nature will be seen in this condition called Addison's disease. Next one, another disease is the Cushing syndrome. Second disease is Cushing syndrome. Why this happens? Due to the tumor of the adrenal cortex. So that's why we start to release more and more mineralocorticoid and more glucocorticoid. So what will happen here, the opposite of this Addison's disease we'll see, right? So in this condition the blood glucose level will be higher, that can cause wasting of the limbs. The high level of plasma sodium in the plasma, we will see high level of low level of potassium in the plasma, we will see. We can see high blood volume and high blood pressure also. This is called as Cushing syndrome. Third disease is the Cohn's disease. So Cohn's disease will appear due to the excessive secretion of the mineralocorticoid or aldosterone. So I have told you the mineralocorticoid is same with aldosterone, remember that. So it can cause the high level of blood plasma and low level of potassium in the plasma. The last disease, fourth disease, actually there is another disease we have, that is adrenal virilism. Adrenal virilism is actually a condition in the female where the sex corticoid or gonadocorticoid will be released in excess. So high level of testosterone in the female will cause less development of the mammary gland, hoarse voice or the male-like voice in the female, as well as thick and broad musculature we can see. Okay, male-like behavior or secondary sexual characteristics will appear in the skin or in the face. There will be beard development will be seen in the females. So that disease condition is called as adrenal virilism. Same condition if it happens in the male, then more and more estrogen and progesterone will be released, then there will be a condition called gynecomastia. So what is gynecomastia now? This condition will appear actually in the males due to the excess release of the sex corticoids in the males can lead to the less development of the mammary high level or more development of the mammary gland in the males. Okay, then it can also cause some another problems, like the voice will be female like, the skin will be smooth and beard development will be less. That means in the male female like behavior will be appeared, female like characteristics will be appeared, and in adrenal virilism male like characteristics will be appeared in the female. So there are the different type of disease and disorders related to the adrenal gland. So that's all about the video. I hope you understand. Thank you.